Hey guys, so I'm noticing a trend here, and let me know if you guys have noticed the same thing. And I'm telling this to you after I've already done something about it, so take that for what it is. I've noticed a trend that usually cards do not go more, like first edition PSA 10, that usually does not sell for more than 10 times what the 9 does. Give you some examples. Right now, we have first edition. These are all going to be first edition hollows. They're going to be in the WOTC set from PSA 10 to PSA 9. Alakazam base set goes from 3 to 3.5 grand. PSA 10. The 9s go for 650 to 700. So that's about 6 times what the 9s go for. The Charizard, first edition PSA 10, base set goes for about 40K. We've all known there's a couple of them around that mark. So we have a few data points. The 9s have been increasing incrementally from about 5, now that's up to about 7.2K. So it's about 5x of what the PSA 10 sells for 5x of what the 9 does. The Clefairy base set, first edition PSA 10, sells for anywhere between 3 and 3.5K. And the 9s are anywhere from 3 to 500. So that's up to 10 grand. And that's the line. That is the line of where that's usually the max. The 10 goes for 10 times more than the 9. Now, almost no other card goes up for that. If we fast forward a little bit, after base set, after fossil and all that, we go to Gym Challenge, we get super low. Like the Blaine's Charizard goes from the PSA 10, sold for 1380 was the last one. Some others have sold around that. It says like 2000, but it was best offer, so you never know. But the 9s go for 450 to 500, so that's only 2 to 3 times. The 10 sells for 2 3 times what the 9 does. Now the Neo Typhlosion, something I'll get back to. That's a special case because there's only one data point, so kind of take it with a grain of salt. But the fossil, all right. So lapras hollows, the PSA 10s are going anywhere from 16 to 2400. So the last 4 sales, confirmed sales that actually went through for the month of March, averaged out to $2,050 for the PSA 10. The 9s sell for an average of 150. It sold for like 115, 120. The price has steadily gone up, but at 150, you're looking at the 10 is selling 13 times for what the 9 is selling. You all are insane if you're not buying at that price. So I bought 3 of them. The only 3 that were on the market, I bought them. And I will buy more if they come. There's 170 that I right now, and I did a best offer thing. I'm waiting on that, but that is what's happening. That 9 has so much more room to catch up. Now, I'm not saying it's going to eventually be only only 2 to 3/3 like the Blaine's Charizard, where the 10 sells for only 2 to 3 times what the 9 is. I'm not saying the Lapras 9 is going to go out and become suddenly $800, but the fact that the 10 is 13 times what the 9 is selling for, that is I don't know what exactly to call it, but you're going to see a huge correction over the next couple of months to a year where that is going to skyrocket, that 9. And again, the 10 could very well keep going up, because there was also a sale for 1600, out of the average of 24, 22, 20. So you could see another sale that maybe goes even higher for the PSA 10. But either way, it's insane that nobody has thought of that, and I'm sure I'm probably not the only one to think of it. Maybe I am because I'm spending every waking hour not in my first business on this business. And going back to the Neo Genesis Typhlosion, we only have one data point on this right now, and it sold for $10,000, the PSA 10, and the 9s. If we're looking at what's available right now, there's 2 of them on there. I think it's for like 980 and like 800 that they're listed as. I just bought one from the guy I got the Trophy Kangaskhan from, Alex, for 700. So in this case, that's 14x. The 10 is selling for 14 times what the 9 is. So that is something that should really take into account if you're crazy like me and you want to look at these and notice patterns and say, okay, general rule, 10x is usually the highest of what the 10 will sell for over the 9. And again, I'm sure there are other exceptions. This is based just in the few sets that I've looked at, from base to fossil to uh, gym challenge and all that. But that's just something that I see, and the market will eventually correct. Now, the lapras is very hard to grade. You have a so you have about 600 something PSA nines and like 65 10s. So some of those nines are probably regraded over and over, but and I assume the same thing for the Neo Typhlosion. But that Neo Typhlosion, I think SM Pratt had said, will probably flirt with $1,000 very soon. That PSA 9. So buying it for 700 is a steal. Honestly, buying those other ones for 780, 8, even 900 is probably a very good steal, because again, that's more than that 10x. That's 11x. So it has a lot of room to grow. And as these 10s become out of reach for everyone else, a lot more people will be going for the 9s, and you're going to see a lot more growth, not only with the 9s, but the 8s and the 7s, because again, you're getting the same artwork for very, very small amount of difference. And especially nowadays with PSA not grading 10s really, I mean, it's got to be a perfect stellar card. And again, we're talking WOTC set. A lot of the newer cards, like the modern, they're made extraordinarily well. A lot of those will get 10s if they're packed fresh, but for WOTC, it just does not happen. So again, right now that could be corrected, but it might not. So there's a very good chance that you will see the 10 in the population in the pop report from PSA pretty much stay at a standstill. You're going to see a lot more 9s come. So those 10s, if you have them, hang on to them for right now. And again, everyone's financial life is different. You might not be able to because of what the again, it's YouTube, so I can't say it. Let's say the cold is doing to the market right now. And speaking of which, and if anyone, I'm kind of done talking about Pokemon right now. If anyone wants to click off now, you can. But I'm just going to talk about the market, what I have. Pretty much, Warren Buffett had only had, I think, 3 or 4 stocks for most of his career until he got too big and he had to just start buying actual companies. And what I'm trying to do is I have Square, so every business owner that's like a food truck, or again, they're taking a beating now because no one's allowed in restaurants, but they're using that instead of a credit card processing machine. And so I have that because I think that it fills a very good niche of people that don't want to pay for credit card processors, people that don't have cash. They just give their card, they swipe, whatever. And that has gone down so much. Like, it has gone down like 50%. And the same thing is true for Tesla, which I also have a vested interest in. And all these companies, this is what I have right now. Tesla went from like 960, it's down to like 450 as of today. I've been buying on the way down. And again, Pokemon mirrors the market. This is what I have. And it eventually, whether it's 3 months from now or even 3 years from now, it's going to go back up. And just because a stock loses half of its sticker price does not mean that the company lost half its value. Like Square and Tesla, they haven't taken half their employees and fired them. They haven't given out a quarterly earnings report that says we only did half the revenue that we did of last time. And only half that you are just getting these stocks at a severe discount. Illumina is another one I have, and I like data collection. I like disruptive data collection, and a Tesla has those. Every mile that your Tesla drives in that autopilot, it collects data for itself that goes right back to Tesla. It makes it a better driver. The car's a better driver. And people are so annoyed sometimes with like, oh yeah, we collect your cookies if they click on apps like Facebook. Everyone collects data. Everyone that does are ahead of the game. That's what Tesla does. And Illumina is a stock it's a company that reads your DNA. If y'all haven't heard of CRISPR is something that can change your DNA, but in order to get to that spot, you first have to read it. In order to read it, that's what this company does. It reads your DNA to a point where it can declare defects in it, hand it off to CRISPR, and then CRISPR can fix it and change it. Now, a lot of people are invested in CRISPR, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But they're not doing the data collection, or if they are, they're only doing it on the files and the patients that they get. But everyone in the future is going to have their DNA read. It's almost probably if, however, healthcare is going to go into the future in this country, whether it is going to be the socialized healthcare or it stays like it is, insurance companies or whoever is going to probably have to mandate that you get your DNA read because that's something that could help you in the future. That's something that is preventative care because the real cost of medicine is not in preventative care. The cost of medicine is keeping mostly old people alive when they already have problems and you're focusing on treatments. The other stock that I have is VOO. It's Vanguard. Just buys the S&P 500, which Tesla should be in next quarter. Anyway, this video has gone on for too long. Those are my thoughts on Pokemon and the market and at large. Hope to talk to you all soon. Bye.